Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. It is Mike Lando Ferrando. He's back. He's doing his gestures. I don't know what's up with that. It's good to see you again, buddy. I missed you. It's been like 5 months.
It's good to see you, man. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been enjoying your like I said, I know it's been the JFK anniversary. Was it the 60th anniversary? And so you've had a lot of JFK podcasts lately that I've been enjoying immensely. Um, yeah. But yeah, man, it's good to finally talk to you again and be back because I know you're like, yeah, you're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't have, your average Joes on anymore.
Are we talking about the show or my muscular definition? Because I've been taking T booster like a motherfucker.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have listened and you've been listening, Robbie works out every single day, and he never, ever, ever.
I did miss one. Recently I took a vacation.
What?
Yeah, I took a vacation to DC, and
Oh, good for you.
yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of yeah. It was first time in a long time I've ever missed a gym thing, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What'd you do in Washington, DC?
Well, I was at a bar with my buddy and we were talking about going to see museums because we thought museums would be a great experience to go. Like we're older now, instead of doing a field trip, we can just go as buddies and you know go look at some art. That's what I want to see. I'm a little bit more like I wanted to see some JFK related stuff and maybe get a tour and correct the person if they said anything I didn't agree with. Um, but then he goes, "Yeah, I got these girls that want to go with us, and they're friends of ours." And I was like, "Yeah, they can come. It's awesome if they want to go see museums." So it was like a week and a half later. He was like, "Yeah, we're getting hotel rooms, so just clear your day for that." And I was like, "Oh, I've never missed the gym." And he's like, "I know. You're gonna have to step out of your comfort zone. We're gonna have to miss the gym just one day." I was like, "All right, I'll do it to go see some museums." So then it's like the night before and it's like 9 p.m. I'm about to get up in about 2 hours, do 5 hours of cardio, and then meet them. And we're all going to go down to DC in the morning. And it's 2.5 hours away. And then we're spending the night up there and everything. So I messaged one of the girls and I go, "Hey, what museums do you want to see?" And I have all these museums screenshotted on my phone, like the Spy Museum and all this. And then she goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "We're going to go see some museums in DC. What do you want to go see?" And she was like, "It's my birthday this weekend. We're going to clubs. We're not going to museums." And I go, "You know what? That makes a lot of sense that you say that because nobody was letting me know what exactly when or how or what the game plan was. When are we going there?" And it's like the night, like a couple hours before. So I figured somebody was luring me into a trap to go down there, to go down to some clubs or something. And she was like, "Yeah," she goes, "We already got the strip clubs picked out." And I was like, "I refuse to go to a strip club. I will not go to a strip club. I'm sorry. I don't care." But the girls wanted to go. And yeah, we had a fun time. We just went to clubs and things of that sort. Enough about me. It's not about me.
Well, that's hey, your listeners don't hear enough about you. There you go. Awesome. That's cool, man. That's awesome. It's always good to get out and about. Yeah, because I've been on vacation, but I really don't do anything, man. I'm kind of like a homebody, but this is my third week. I was able to take 3 weeks off this year because my company, we're going through like a merge. Two like restaurant supply companies are merging together, and we're one. My emails changed. This has changed. Everything's changing. So it's been really crazy at my job. Um, and I probably shouldn't have taken the 3 weeks off, but man, I needed it to unplug, man. We all need to unplug, you know?
Would you rather take a vacation to like a foreign place or would you rather just stay home? I'd rather stay home.
Yeah, man, I am such like a homebody. Like I like staying at home, doing some like local things. Dude, just watching TV, uh, playing my guitar, playing some video games. I started playing the Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor. Um, so yeah, I've been doing that on vacation. That's fun. Watching some Star Wars. Oh, actually, you haven't known this. I've been donating plasma lately.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Last 2 months, I've been donating plasma. So when I donate, what I did was I'm doing a Star Wars marathon. So it takes about almost an hour, 45 to 50 minutes to like donate, like the time you're in the chair. So I've been watching Star Wars. I'm all the way up to Empire Strikes Back right now. I'm starting in order one, two, three, and then I watched Solo, Rogue One, New Hope. And then
How'd you get into donating plasma? Did a Jehovah's Witness knock on your door and just ask you?
no, I just,
They'll get you.
just
They'll
like
get you.
everybody, man, just got into a little bit of, money debt. Not a whole lot. Like I said, I'm really proud of myself. Got through this month. Like I said, I don't know when this is coming out, if this is early January, but we're in December still. But got through this month, didn't charge anything really. So kudos to me. It's always a win-win. But just had a little bit of debt, donated some plasma for a few months. Next month, I should have that credit card paid off, and then I'll be out of debt, like pretty much completely, except like car payments.
How is it? How painful is donating plasma?
It's actually not too bad. I think the worst part is just a lot of the wait time. So like you go in, you got to answer some questions. It takes about 5 minutes. Then you got to get your vitals done. So that part can be time consuming because it depends if they have one person or two persons. And what they do is they'll prick your finger. They take blood. They take a blood sample. They do your temperature, your pulse, your blood, dude, your blood pressure, so you have to pass like all these like health checks first before they even let you donate. So what happened to me,
Why Magic Johnson can't donate blood?
right? But what happened to me, this is funny, man, because I exercise. My pulse. So your pulse has to be between 50 and 100 to in order to donate plasma. My pulse registered this one time at 49. So they give me this like tag, and I got to go visit the doctor and the nurse, and the nurse is just like, "Hey, it's called the athletic pulse." And I'm like, "An athletic pulse?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "If you exercise a lot, your pulse could run low sometimes." So they put in a form for me. So I have the range from 40 to 100 to donate plasma because since I like exercise. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was called an athletic pulse if you have a low pulse rate.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, like my finger, it's crazy, man, because when I first started doing it, um, when I, draw blood every year at my physical, my arm bruises, and this and that. But now, man, I'm like a plasma champ. Like, my arm don't bruise no more. And yeah, man, I do it twice a week. So at least I get a little bit of money. The money has really shrunk down since the first month, but it's kind of part of my routine. I go Wednesdays and Saturday mornings. I go and I just don't take a couple hours, earn some extra money, watch Star Wars, and yeah.
I'm only donating blood or something if they have bran muffins that they give people or banana nut. They always lay
Well,
out food so you don't pass out, basically.
yeah, I mean they did that like the very first time I went there because I told them I didn't eat it because you know me, I fast all day. I don't eat. So they gave me like some cookies or crackers, but like since then I still fast. I still do everything, and I'm fine after I donate. So it takes longer than blood because what the machine does, I mean, the needles huge that they stick in your arm, but like they take the blood out and then it separates the plasma out and then they put the blood back in you. And it kind of goes in cycles. So like you're pumping your fist, pumping your blood out, and then you relax. And then you're doing it. And it's just like, yeah, like so you do about 45 minutes or so, and then you're done. Take the needle out, you get to go home.
Do they tell you where they send it to, or who? Did you ask about the
No,
process? If
I
you're saving anybody in
yeah,
particular?
like I got like a message, like an email saying like, "Hey, thanks for after your 1 month. You've been doing this for a month." Like, so now I've been doing it for 2 months, but it was just like you have helped like 9 people with your plasma. Like, so they give you like updates and tell you how many people you help out just because you're donating. So like once again, I mean, I know you're like, yeah, I'm getting money, but at the same token, like you're still helping people that like need plasma. So it's a good deed, which is awesome. Yeah, you get some little extra money.
I don't trust any of that stuff. I feel like it's kind of faked. I mean, I don't think they're just taking your plasma and creating another you. I mean, that could be a possibility. But in
You don't.
reality, I just don't believe like when like you saved this child and they send you a photo because I just had this happen. So with working and getting like working the two jobs and everything and actually starting to have some money, I wanted to do something I kind of been putting off for the longest time, which was I wanted to go adopt a dog. And I
Yay.
wanted to actually have like a dog, like just because I've been wanting one since way before the podcast started. It was either going to be a podcast or a dog. I just needed to make sure I had the time for it. So I was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna want to do something with a dog. You know, I would like to have one. Wanted one for a very long time, one that was my own. So I go to the SPCA's website, and they're like showing all these like 1 year old like puppies basically that are like labs and all this, and they're like, well, I'm like, holy shit, like people pay thousands of dollars sometimes for some of these dogs. I'm like, let me just go adopt one. So I drove, and this is what pissed me off the most. I drove an hour in 20-degree weather in a car that has no heat to go to this place. I get there and go inside and I go, hey, I saw this dog on your website. I emailed and you guys sent me an email back saying, come check it out and we'll see the dog. I'd like to see the dog. And they're like, oh, this dog? And I was like, that dog, the one I'm pointing out on this paper I printed out. Yes. And they're like, we don't actually have that dog at this location. That's at our California or whatever. They named some place that's across the country from me. And I'm like, well, it's listed on your website. I put in on your guy's site, not any other site that was in another state, this state in particular. And they go, yeah, well, why don't you go check out our dogs? And I go, okay, I will. And I looked and started looking around, bunch of sad dogs. Yeah, I want to adopt them all, man. I was ready for it. But then I asked her, I was like, so where's the dog that was listed on the website? I don't see any of them that you had listed on there. Any of like the backup options or anything, if that one was adopted or it wasn't a good fit. And they go, well, to be honest with you, we put a lot of those dogs on our website to get people down here. And then usually when they start seeing the dogs we have available, they'll end up adopting one of the dogs I have available. I go, why would you do that? And they're like, because these dogs need to get a home. I was like, I get it, but that's not ethical at all. And I hate to be that guy because none of these dogs I want. And they're like, what, you don't want to adopt any of these? I was like, no, because they're all 8 or 9 years old. I'm not trying to adopt a dog for a year or two before they go. You know, that's just, it's rough. I'm just not that person who's fit to be able to go give them the exercise that they need when they're that old. I need a puppy that I can use my energy with that energy. And they kind of made you feel like shit while you're leaving. And I'm like, well, damn, at least give me some crackers or something for showing up. God damn.
So it's funny. So where I adopted my last dog, Kira, she's a husky. I got super lucky with her. You know, she's a full-blooded husky, like you were talking about, man. Those are super expensive to buy. And I got her, she was about a year old, and I got it for free because they were doing free adoptions at the, Humane Society here. And what they used to do is you used to go there and you could walk, and there was like three rooms. You could walk up and down and look at all the dogs in the cages, and you could like pick out the dog you wanted and like take it outside if you wanted. Um, but the last time I went, they stopped doing that. So you couldn't go and visit the rooms. The only room you could visit was the cat room. And there was only like four cats. I mean, I have five cats, but like if you want to look at a dog, what you had to do is you had to get on the website, their website, find the dog if they had it, and then they would go get it. And then right, so you couldn't like physically look at the dogs, which they which is really like, I don't know, because the way I got my dog was I saw her in the cage and I got to like, see her and be like, oh, because the thing about dude, the Humane Society, I don't know what kind of dogs that you saw. The ones here, there's a lot of Rockwilders. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of the same kind of dogs in the pens. And
It's
like,
because
yeah,
they
they're
get busted out of like a puppy mill, and that's what they get. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I mean, it's good to donate. I mean, I don't know about eight or nine. That really sucks, man. Like I said, that sucks that there's like dogs that old because all of my dogs are adopted. I have three dogs except my German Shepherd. I got Jaina when she was a puppy, but she's about nine. I think she's like nine, about 9 years old now. And then I have Brady, which I adopted, and I got him when he was two, and he's like a husky mix. And he's about 10. And like I said, there's Kira, she's about 3 now, and she's a full-blooded husky. But yeah, that whole process, man, what happened to you, man? That sucks whether they
It's
lured
yeah,
you
I
in
was
with the
like, God,
pictures.
I was like, damn, I had to drive off with nothing. Yeah.
It's like false advertisement. And you do, man. You see when you walk up and down the pens and like you see all the dogs, like they're just so sad and you feel so bad for them. So the last one of the kitty cats I I adopted, she was abused, and it even said it like on the tag, like she was an abused cat. Da 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 da. She's been with me for like 3 years, but like you just feel so bad for him. But like, dude, adoption is absolutely the best way to go because like you save, you're actually saving the animal because eventually if the animal is in there for so long, right, they put them to sleep most of the time.
Yeah,
So
that's what I didn't get. I was like, why do you guys put them to sleep? And they're like, yeah, we just can't afford to keep a dog here for like longer than a certain amount of time. And I was just like, well, don't we have tax dollars that goes to doing this? I mean, you're not benefiting off of this. You're not really getting paid to work here. You're kind of volunteering here, which is good on you. But then you look at where our taxes go. I haven't seen them fix one pothole in my fucking town, but that's apparently where our tax holes are going.
okay,
That's
hold on a
bullshit.
second. Hold on a second. Okay, so I got a story. So my neighborhood, when you pull into the main road of our neighborhood, uh
There's a bunch of homeless dogs and cats.
no, and there's apartment complex, and then there's like doubles, and they're actually building more houses now, like in the front. There's this big stretch of the road in front of the apartments. Dude, it is pothole. I've been in this house for almost 10 years.
Domino's ain't doing shit like they said they would, did they?
Pothole
Damn.
cities. Okay, look, tons of potholes. All they have to do is do not one of those nice long stretches of repaving. I'm not asking you to repave the whole road, just long strips. No, what do they do every single year is they just fill the holes, right? Individually. Oh, wait, it gets better. This year, they didn't fill all the holes. They just filled the worst holes, the ones that were the deepest, and left the shallow holes. So when you're driving into my neighborhood, and it's still shit because the holes they come up every year. Like after a month, the holes are back. The potholes are back. Like, dude, it drives me insane. It's just funny that you said that about potholes. Because Indiana, because I'm in Indiana, we're known for some of the worst potholes of all time. And we joke all the time about where our tax dollars are going because they seem to never fill the effing potholes. My son, Anakin, he got a flat tire potholes 3 or 4 times this year because of potholes. And look, man, it hasn't even snowed yet
They
here.
pay for that, don't they? The city?
Yes,
Yeah, they
but that's
better.
where our money goes, man. You
Well,
know?
I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know where our money goes, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
you're right. It's circulating somewhere. It's like my HOA, right? I have an HOA here, which I have to pay for. I had to pay for $230. And like I got the paperwork yesterday, the day before, and it's just like for ponds and for retention. I'm just like, what pond?
Yeah.
There's no pond in my neighborhood. Oh, but it's like $5,000 to retain the pond. Awesome. So
I
yeah.
had this guy at my work trying to tell me that if you go to Alaska, you can buy property, like an acre of land there is like 50 something dollars. So he was like, yeah, you could just buy like what, spend $150 on 3 acres of property, and then you get to build your own house, and the lumber material there is so cheap. He's like, you can even hire companies that'll do that. Like they'll have those little shacks that are already pre-made and drop it off for you. And I go, the reason why it's so cheap in Alaska is because nobody wants to live there. It's just a factor of it's so cold.
Cold, right? Yeah.
It's literally unbearable. Like you have to set your house on fire for only warmth you can possibly get. And
I
he was
wonder.
like, yeah, but it's cheap though. Like, so imagine you spend $1,000, $2,000 a month on a place for yourself, right? In the house that you live in, let's say around that price. That would last you more than a year and a half in Alaska.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just that for 1 month. So it's like really like appetizing. You'd be like, damn, I want to go down there. But unless you're wearing fur jackets like Cruella DeVille, you ain't surviving,
Yeah,
bro.
no, 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 no. Not to loop back to my plasma. So when they do your vitals, right? So they prick your finger here at the top, and they have this little skinny tube. And so what they have to do is they prick it, and then they start squeezing your finger to fill up this skinny tube. So I have really bad circulation in my hands. My hands are always cold. So like when I'm waiting in line, I'm like rubbing my hand on my pants and trying to like warm up my hands. And like the other day, the last time I donated on Saturday, Christmas Eve, she pricked my finger and she couldn't like get all the blood in, and she was like squeezing and rubbing and
Started
rubbing and
spraying
rubbing.
all over the.
Dude, and she's just like, do you mind if I prick another finger to like finish off the tube? And I'm like, I guess. So then, like, yeah, she pricked my finger on my other hand, and I'm just like, ah. So that part does like suck. Like, get your finger pricked every time. It's like once again, twice a week. I get the same finger pricked, but like I was looking at my ring finger on my right hand. Like when I looked at it real closely, I'm just like, oh, I got a bunch of like tiny holes in it from where I'm getting pricked to test my blood for plasma. Now I know how diabetics feel.
I was literally gonna say that. I was My cousin brought his test kit out when I think we were like 14 years old, and I wanted to try it. And that needle went right into my finger, and I was like, give you praise every time. I'm never gonna make fun of you every time I see you checking your blood, because we'd always joke around with him. Like he'd ask for like a soda or something. I'd give him an actual soda instead of a diet soda, and he knows he can't drink that. And I'm like, come on, live on the wild side. You just mad because you can't do sugar or something like that? And then he'll get mad and he'll drink it. The next thing you know, he'll be basically about to fall asleep because his blood sugar's too high. It's making him crash. So then he has to go over and take insulin. And we always make fun of him, like, man, it sucks. Halloween's like the devil's curse for the diabetics. And he just would get so mad at it. He was like, why don't you try and see how it feels to get pricked in your finger? And I go, okay. And I did it. And I was like, damn, I'm never going to joke about the whole taking the medication for that, because living that after a while, your fingers would have to be hard as rocks towards the end to be able to deal with getting injected in the finger every single time.
Dude, like I said, I play instruments and stuff, and you get calluses on your fingers and you get buildup on them. But like, yeah, it's just another. I was telling you, like I bruised at first. I used my right arm to donate every single time now. But like, yeah, man, like the needle's huge. I'm not lying, man. It's a big needle. But my veins, they're so good for them. Actually, I don't know if you can see my veins in the camera, but they're good veins. They're huge veins. They stick me in the same place every time. But yeah, when I get done, there's just a little spot there instead of a big bruise, like like normally what happens to me. It's funny. It's like anything, working out, anything, like you build up a tolerance towards it. And yeah, dude, I'm like a plasma like
Step it
pro.
up. Next, try heroin.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Just say no, kids.
I heard it's a great experience.
No, 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 no. You already know I'm
That's another thing our tax dollars went to, is the DARE program that I ended up getting more kids hooked on drugs than anything.
yeah, well, no, well, it was funny, man. I was talking to somebody. We were talking about the vapes, right? Like,
All right,
how
let me hit my
how
vape.
no, I don't even like that when we're doing our podcast. Well, there you go. Oh my God, there you go, kids.
Feels
So
good.
no, I was just sitting there thinking, how did this become so popular? How did this smoking cigarettes turning to vaping, because the original purpose of vaping was to stop smoking.
That's what they marketed it as. It's a market scheme. There's ties from the tobacco industry into vapes as well too.
But I remember people vaping when it wasn't popular, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to quit smoking. It's a vape." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And now it's the dude. There's two new vape shops opened up. Like a new one opened up down the road from me.
It's going to get worse because there's marijuana's legal now, so vape shops also sell marijuana.
No, 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 not in Indiana. Uh,
It'll get there eventually.
we'll be one of the dude. We're so conservative here. We'll be one of the last states, but they sell like the THC things at those vape shops. I don't know, dude. I don't know anything about them. My kid, like my kids do them. They're 22, and my Anakin, he's about to be 21. Like I said, it's crazy. But like, yeah, they do all that stuff. The vape, the hitting the vapes. Like, yeah, we did Christmas. I got my grandbaby. Yeah, dude, hey, I guess I'm grandpa, man. I got my
Congratulations.
grandbaby. Thank you. Did her first Christmas. She's like 8, 9 months. But like, yeah, it's blowing the vape, and I said, "Hey, vaping in the Ferrando house, right?" And they're just like, "Oh, I do it all the time." I was like, "Not in my house." I said, "Not around my granddaughter. You can do it at your house, but I don't know, man. Like, I guess the smoke is cleaner. I don't care, dude. Smoke is smoke to me. So there's got to be some study about secondhand, even vape smoke, just like secondhand smoke with cigarettes. Hey, cigarettes have a filter on them, right? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. because there's all these studies. We talked about this, studies. You just don't know. Vaping is just as bad as smoking cigarettes, or it's not as bad
I
as
mean, you're
smoking.
entitled to your opinion on vape smoke. I wouldn't vape around you if you asked me not to.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying because it's just to me, it's just
I
smoke.
watched
I
the
just
Jewel
don't want to
documentary
inhale.
on Netflix, and the whole time I was vaping my ass off while watching
Yeah,
it.
of course you were.
I think they are they're definitely addicting, but I think that's like that with everything. You just kind of have to accept the devil's bargain in life. Like, what are you going to do? Energy drinks, working out, all these things are bad and good for you. So it's like you have to kind of choose like what you're going to eventually, like 6 hours of cardio for me, for instance. I'm just hoping my knees give out before my heart does.
Yeah, so exactly. So if you talk to anybody, they're going to tell
I
you,
got 42 of these for
they're,
Christmas. These are
they're
energy
what
drinks.
monsters?
Yeah.
They're like Robbie. Yeah, you can keep on doing all that cardio, but when you're like 40, 45, you're going to have to replace your knees.
I'm going to be dead in less than a week.
You,
I said 26 was all I was aiming for.
hey, the magic number in rock and roll is like 27. I think it's like Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
Long
They
enough
all
to feel
died.
alive and quick enough to burn out.
There you go. Nah, man, you're gonna be just fine. You're because you exercise and stuff. Like you said, man, I still do the little total body and the yoga. I'm getting an exercise bike because my treadmill dude crapped out on me, but I'm getting an exercise bike. So I'll have an exercise bike. And I've been listening to more podcasts, being able to do that. So that'll be good, man. Like I said, I once again exercise, life, it's routine. It's just built in my life. I haven't exercised for a little bit since I've been on vacation. The last time I exercised was like last Tuesday or Wednesday. So actually doing this with you prevented me from exercising this morning. That's okay.
Well, thanks.
It's
Jeez.
all right. It's
Do you
all
have
right. So
do you have any new interests since the last time we talked?
nah, man, I'm pretty same old, man. I'm just 46, man. Just turned 46 like last month. I'm like, it's crazy, man. I'm pretty set in my ways now. Now fashion, maybe like now I'm wearing like slacks, like they're
Hmm.
airwalk slacks, but
What?
they're like slack, dude. Like I'm growing up. Like I'm wearing like slacks, and
Because you're donating plasma. It's changing your personality.
I got this nice jacket, this new jacket for Christmas. It's got like a scarf. It's a Dockers. It's like a grown up like jacket. It's just like I don't know. I hit my mid 40s and like I'm wearing slacks and like nice.
Christ, if a midlife crisis is slacks, that's like the least damaging one.
No, man. Once again, I'm really fortunate, man. I'm a pretty like laid back dude who never got into like drugs or drinking or any of that. Like, so yeah, dude, like New Year's is coming up for me. That's the one night I cut loose and I drank. So other than that, man, like I don't drink at all throughout the rest of the year.
Everybody always skips to New Year's. Why does everybody do that?
It's my one night, man, that
It's
I can.
upset me since I was born.
Why? Because
'Cause
your
my birthday's
birthday?
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I know.
It's like everyone's like, Happy New Year. I'm like, hey, motherfucker. Like, I hate to be that guy, but damn.
But once again, man, it's just one of those things that traditionally, man, like I've been in the rock music since I was a teenager, video games, Star Wars, movies, stuff like that, and that's pretty much been like even 46, man. I told you I'm on vacation and I play music, I watch movies.
I'm like so close to just taking my nephews up to Disneyland or something. I have not been since I was probably 6 years old. And I just have this giant urge to just go to Orlando Studios or any of these places and just not just kidnap my nephews and just take them down there.
Yeah, man, because I got that big Star Wars area and stuff at Disney World now, but I haven't even been to it yet. It's just really expensive. Man, we're talking about like expenses, man. Like everything is so expensive. I was talking to my daughter. We were talking about just eating out, and I told her, "Oh, you want something that's changed with me? McDonald's, even kind of fast food." Because I had it like a couple weeks ago, and I had McDonald's. I was like, eh. Like I just don't. I think if I want a hamburger, I just think I'm gonna go somewhere else. I just maybe I'm growing out of like McDonald's. Now French fries are amazing, but it's just like the hamburger. Yeah. If I want a good, I just want a good hamburger, man. If I want a hamburger, I don't want McDonald's hamburger. And the hamburger is value meal is like $12, so I can go to Five Guys or go somewhere else and pay the same price and get a hamburger. It's just we were talking about the cost of even going to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or something. It's just getting even my favorite restaurant, Texas Roadhouse. My steak that I got used to be like $10. Now it's like $14.
Texas Roadhouse is your favorite restaurant?
Oh, dude, so yeah, it's one of my favorite restaurants. Yeah, because they have the bread and the cinnamon butter and um get the cheese, bacon cheese fries, steak, sirloin.
I went to when I went was in DC. We went to a restaurant, fanciest restaurant I have ever been to in my entire life. Um, Everyone was wearing tuxedos and shit, and I was just wearing my one colored hoodie that's white and it's kind of tie dye that I wear on the show. I didn't have any like super nice stuff. I thought we were going to museums. Remember that. I packed for museums. So it's like, all right, so I did my 6 hours of cardio. I had an orange for breakfast and I did not eat until 9 p.m. So that was at 5 a.m. when I ate. And all I was doing was piling drinks on top of that. So we get to this restaurant and it's fancy as shit. It's a seafood restaurant. I get the menu. Every single thing on that menu is above 40 something dollars.
Oh,
So I go, I'm going to get this. And the guy comes over. He goes, do you want two or three? And I was like, I haven't eaten anything, but I'm just going to say two because I don't know what the size is. And he goes, okay, I'll bring it over to you. I swear to God, dude, for $46, it was those little Tostitos scoops chips. It was two of those with a little bit of meat in it, and the plate was drizzled, and they sliced up cucumbers super thin and placed it in a pattern around the plate. And it got dropped in front of me, and my face was like, and I was like, my buddy knew I had, like, they had all been, everyone I was with had been eating like a couple hours before, and a couple hours before that, and a couple hours before that. And the plate gets in front of me, and he knows I haven't eaten all day. I've just been drinking on top of an empty stomach, basically. And he goes, dude, you can have some of mine. That is terrible. I was like, yeah, you're damn right. I'm going to have some of yours. Like, cause he got a bunch of California rolls. And I was like, I thought mine was more. I would think mine would be, dude, I ate those chips in a matter of like a minute and it wasn't that good at all. It was not $46 worth, but it was like, I think I went to bed at like 4 a.m., woke up at 6 and went downstairs because the time change happened. So we went back an hour. So I was waiting for the free breakfast. I'm a big free breakfast hotel guy. I love that stuff. So I'm sitting there in like pineapple board shorts, a tank top. My hair is all like a rooster straight up in the air. I just basically woke up from like a deep like that. I went to bed that night thinking I'm not going to be waking up in the morning. Like my heart was beating like a drum, dude. It was bad. Um, and I went downstairs getting ready for breakfast. The woman goes, "We don't start breakfast till 7." And I was like, "Well, technically the time changed, so it is 7 o'clock, but it's technically 6." And she goes, "We open at 7." I said, "That's fair." And she goes, "Are you a basketball player?" And I just was like, "I'm 5'8." And she was like, "You're very athletic." I was like, "Thanks." And I was like, "I'm just going to sit here and make TikTok videos on my phone from clips I have for my show until the breakfast opens up." Well, then the breakfast opens up at 7. I go and grab a small, like little, like it's a hotel bowl of like fruit, like a couple pieces of honeydew, a couple pieces of cantaloupe. And then I go and grab an English muffin out of the thing and I go and open it up to go put it in the toaster thing. And she goes, "Do you have your breakfast coupon?" And I was like, "The breakfast isn't complimentary. All hotels do complimentary breakfast." She goes, "No, it's $15 a plate." And they bring out eggs and French toast. And I just go, $15 a plate? And I go, "Yeah." I go, "I don't have my wallet on me and I'm not paying $15 for this little small bowl of fruit and an English muffin when I can go to the gas station and get the same thing for $1 or $2. And she
right.
goes, since you didn't know, sweetie, you can go and take that." I go, "Well, I appreciate that. Thank you." And I had a little small yogurt that I had too. And I go, "Thank you." And I go to reach for jam for my English muffin. And she goes, "No, no, no, that's extra." And I go, "Fine." So I'm sitting in an elevator and I'm literally going from the first floor to the 12th floor where my room was at. And every floor, someone got on the elevator. And I don't, it was like I said, breakfast just opened up. I guess everybody was going down there. So I'm sitting there with my hair up like a rooster in a tank top in pineapple board shorts with a bowl of fruit in one hand and a yogurt and eating a dry ass English muffin that literally you could hear the sound of it like chalk as I'm eating it. And everyone's just getting on the elevator and like looking back at me. And I'm sitting there like, I'm still drunk. I'm still whatever. And I just get off the elevator because everyone decided that they wanted to ride up to the 12th floor and then go down to the lobby. They didn't want to wait for the elevator that was going down. So then I get off the elevator, I get back in the hotel room, and I'm sitting in a chair. My buddy's asleep in the bed. There's double beds. I'm not sharing a bed with him. It's two beds in that room. I would have slept on the floor. Uh, but he wakes up, he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm eating breakfast." He's like, what do they have down there?" I was like, you have to pay a lot of money for the actual breakfast. I just got this because the lady felt bad for me, I guess. But she said I was a basketball player, so it makes up for it. And he goes, "Oh, that's fine. We're gonna go get breakfast at the cafe in like 10 minutes anyway." And I go, "Why the hell did you not tell me that I was doing this?" He goes, "Oh, I thought I did." I go, "No, you haven't let me know a single thing of what we were doing all weekend this weekend." He goes, "Isn't that the fun part though?" I go, "No, it fucking sucks because I don't
Oh
know how to plan my
no.
day."
That would drive. So for me, man, yeah, that would drive my OCD like bonkers, man. I'm just so like organized, and I gotta have all my ducks lined up in a row. Like, yeah, I would have to know what the f is going on. That would drive me insane not knowing. But I'll tell you what, man, I've actually because few work trips, and then I went to Ohio what was that, a few months ago, and spent the night at a hotel. Yeah, we got the free breakfast. And like, yeah, dude, when they do the free breakfast, man, they got scrambled eggs.
It's
Dude, they have like
complimentary. That's what
yeah, yeah, yeah,
every
it was free. It was
hotel has
free.
it.
Dude, they had the waffle, where you could pour the waffle stuff in
Jeez,
there, make like your own waffles.
you must
It was
be down in
awesome.
high class, my boy.
It was awesome. Oh, the Holiday Inn Express. There you go.
We got the quality in, and there wasn't anything fucking quality about it.
It's,
My buddy was in the
I,
lobby, dude. They got free rose water. I was like, "What?" They're like, "It's rose water." And then he started drinking it, and I was like, "It tastes like shit." And he goes, "Dude, it's amazing." And I was like, "This is like the scene from The Other Guys where the guy brought in the cucumber water, and they kept getting refills of cucumber water."
guys, aim for the bushes.
Well, now that you're 46, you got a grandbaby. Do you have any life goals you'd like to complete? You got to have at least one life goal.
Oh, life goals. Oh man, make it to 50.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No, I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. It's yeah, dude, being a grandparent is amazing. This year I'm really looking forward to. Got to take her name's Marley, and I call her Miss Marley. And like I said, she's about 8, 9 months, but I got to take her to the zoo for the first time. We did Christmas at the zoo. uh and this coming year we have a really good children's museum downtown Indianapolis. I took my kids to their whole lives. So I told my daughter, I was like, man, next year, she'll be almost, 2 around Christmas time. So, but like, the zoo and children's museum and just spending time with her, it just rewinds my all my brain to when I used to do all that stuff all the time. I remember the first time I had her by myself for the whole day. It was like, yeah, dude, it was like culture shock for me. I was just like changing diapers and crying baby and trying to calm her down with music and this and that. And I was just like, oh, I can't believe I used to do this every day. Like, dude, it was just like it was, because I've been on my kids are adults. So like it's just
It's your
it's been
daughter's
really,
kid,
really
right?
fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's my
Yeah.
daughter. Yep. Like I said, yeah, it's just a lot of fun, man. And like you said, you get to bring her back to my daughter and be like, here you go. I've had my grandparent fill, and I'm good to go. So I don't know, man. Like that's why I tell anybody, I would tell anyone, man, like, yeah, man, have kids, man. Like do it. At least have one.
No, it's killing the planet. You
Two.
can't have kids.
Oh, come on, man. It's I mean, look, I know
No, I'm at that
it,
stage in my life. I think just with Christmas passing recently, I didn't notice this, but there's a lot of friends that I'm friends with that are single moms and they have like a 1 year old. And I'm like, did you just accidentally get pregnant, decided that you wanted to have a kid and then raise it on your own? Because I saw a lot of photos where it was like, whoa, like there's all like I have like 6 or 7 friends that are single moms that are just that's their Facebook is them and their baby, and there's no guy in the picture. And I go, that's so bad. I mean, despite whoever you have, you need at least 2 people in that relationship, someone to give you a break, whether it's with another woman, another man, it does not matter. It's just you need to have someone else there because you cannot do that all on your own. You rely on your parents to take care of it, or you rely on your grandparents. I was lucky I had grandparents that were very, very involved. But that to me is just like, oh God. I was like, I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm like, shit. I like the experience. I like taking my nephews out for ice cream and stuff. Even though I tell them, don't tell your parents because, your mom doesn't let you have anything. They don't know what, like pizza, they don't have any of that. They're very healthy. And I take him out for ice cream. I was like, just don't tell your mom. And he was like, I won't, I won't. And then next thing you know, as soon as I pull up to the mom, guess what me and Uncle Robbie did? And then I was like, damn, dude, like it's not even fine. Like, let me pull out of the driveway and then you just go and say it. I can
Yeah,
block a number. I can't block anything else.
yeah, kids are ruthless and they're brutally honest. That's the best thing about kids. But yeah, man, it takes two. Like I said, even me and my ex-wife, like we stayed together, man, until the kids were 18, regardless of our relationship. So they had the foundation of two parents. We both thought it was super important, for them to have both of us. But yeah, unfortunately, man, I mean, my daughter is, like I said, not to air out some laundry, but personal laundry, but my daughter's about to be, single parent, basically. They live together still, her and her boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend, but they're not together anymore, but they're still raising, Marley together. So, but once again, yeah, it's just like,
Do you believe in those family values though? Like compared to when you were younger and before you had a first kid, did you really care about so much of like the whole family structure and has your family values changed to where you're at now?
yeah, no, no. Once again, I was really fortunate, man. My parents never got divorced, right? My dad passed away a few years ago. But they never got divorced. So I always had mom and dad. Once again, man, and we don't really want to go. I think we've been down this road with me before. Like my dad really wasn't, a dad to me once I got to a certain age. But I always had both. I always had both of them, right? Always. So it was really important to me. The way I always pictured life was I was gonna find somebody and that's it. Like my parents never got divorced. I was never gonna get divorced. And I was just gonna be with one person and we both be there for the kids. And I think that's what I was saying. Even though me and my ex-wife, I don't think we were like, in love with each other anymore, but we stayed together for a long time for the kids. And I think I still think that was good. So the kids did have that structure, but like the kids even tell me, dude, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know all the answers, man. I can just go off personal experience. But my kids have told me like they wish we would have divorced sooner because they could see how unhappy we
Well,
were.
I don't want to get into your divorce. I'm just asking a question
No, no, no,
because
no, 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 no. I'm
it's
just
a
saying, like
yeah.
it's crazy. Other outside perspectives is, I guess, is where I'm going is because you can see your perspective any way you want it, but like when you start hearing outside perspectives on things, it really opens your eyes and can change your mind on like that. And that's what you're asking is it's like yeah, like
No, what I'm asking is from your personal perspective when before you had kids, your values of family shaped and changed different. Because it seems like my generation of kids doesn't have family values. Not in a sense, not in the more conservative sense. I'm talking about in the aspect of everyone feels like they can be fine being a single parent, which I don't disagree with. I was raised in that sense, but there is a real thing of like, I don't want that being the trendy new style we go to because you're just dumping it on your grandparents.
I believe you need both parents. Now, once again, all the power to all the single moms or single dads out there that do it. That's awesome. That's amazing. Strong men, strong women. It's awesome. But at the end of the day, man, you really do need both parents because both parents bring certain values and characteristics to the parenting. And that was the best thing about me and my ex-wife was I brought, the I was the fun parent or I was the more strict parent at times. And then she was it's typical, but like if the kids got hurt or this and that, they went to mom. They came to me for certain things. Kids need that, right? Because when they don't have that, like, oh, I don't feel like I can go to dad and all I have is dad about this, then they're missing out on value and learning and that's dude, and you talk about like generations and how they've changed. And it's true, man. Once again, like I grew up in the 80s, right? So, and my kids grew up at the beginning of cell phones and social media and stuff. And it's, dude, it's just different every generation. And it's just like, even this generation, they don't know life without an iPhone, right? Without social media, without streaming, without anything. I know a life without any of that stuff. Much simpler life when I used to hop on my bike and ride to my buddy's house, right? And ride home when it got dark. Can't do that no more. You can't, dude, you can't let your kids go outside like during the day without feeling is something going to happen. Uh, there's updates on our phones right now of the area I live in. There's been a shooting a street over. There was a stabbing.
Jesus Christ, move neighborhoods, man.
There was a stabbing like two streets over from. There was a gas explosion the other, like literally 2 days ago. There was a gas explosion like less than like 5 miles from here. So it's just like, I tell my wife, crime, anything can happen anywhere in the world, right?
Would
You're
you
not safe anywhere.
would you prefer those alerts or would you prefer not to know?
I don't have them. They're on my wife's phone. She's the one who tells me all the time about them.
I couldn't deal with that, like knowing that I think you have to kind of walk out and just be able to do your best that you can and be protective at all times. But I just feel like knowing that that's why I don't turn on the news.
Neither do I. Yeah, me and you are the same, dude. I don't watch the news. I really don't pay attention to a lot of stuff that's going along. Ever since I haven't been doing YouTube and podcasting, dude, I'm never on social media. Like I'm completely unplugged from all that. I'm just so old school, you know? I'm like the person, right, that puts a post out once in a blue moon and I'll get like 3 likes. I'm just like, yeah, I get 3 likes because I'm never on social media. So, and I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't care. Right. And when I did YouTube and podcasting, that was like obviously a huge weak point for us. And I just terrible at it. But the TikToks, like, you were sending me like some of your TikToks, dude, like that wasn't really around when I was doing the podcast and the YouTube. It's huge now, the TikToks and everything. I think that would be a lot of fun to do that if I was still doing.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun because little short videos and stuff.
You don't even have to, like, I was thinking about doing more documentary style stuff in 60 seconds where I can compact information. There's just so many things where I feel like that need to be addressed that aren't getting addressed. And I feel like I could do it if I had just voiced over something and then made like a really cool, like 60-second clip of something. Doesn't even need to be podcast related, but just explains the Manson stuff, explains a bunch of interesting factors that kind of have been like the whole helter skelter belief that was created by the prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi, but there's no evidence for the helter skelter thing. Everyone talks about, well, it was painted on the door at the Tate Bianca murders. No, it wasn't. What was painted on the door was the word pig. The whole somehow it's like a mandala effect. It has slipped into the actual history of what the actual thing is, and people remember this and what they're actually remembering, where they've seen a photo of Helter Skelter painted on a door was from the movie Helter Skelter. It wasn't from the actual events. They don't have photos from the whole, like there's a couple things in the case that were just fabricated by this prosecutor. And it was like, to me, it was like learning that stuff. It's kind of like the JFK stuff. It's a lot about the RFK stuff. There's like stuff that we're misremembering. I actually called out Stephen King on Twitter because in his book a long time ago, when he wrote about the JFK assassination, he talked about Lee Harvey Oswald's mother was horrible to him, which is very true. But she used to have him come in and have him pull his pants down and, say, I want to see if you're developing like a man. That's not real. She never did that. And actually, if you learn about her life afterwards, I mean, her kids or her grandkids or grandbabies, she was never allowed to see. She used to sit outside the school where they would play and watch them through a fence because she wasn't allowed to communicate with Marina or the babies or anything like that. Like it was a heartbroken mother who lost a son and her other son discommunicated from her. And I was like, wow, you put that in a book that she did this weird sexual stuff and it's not true and there's no evidence for that. But somehow now we have a whole bunch of people that think that's who she is because they read Stephen King's work. And that's where, I mean, I don't know. For me, I'm like, you can clear up so much bullshit. But that stuff like that to me is interesting, where it's like, I don't call it heavy topics. I call it just interesting like getting the accurate information that you could be running off. I'm sure we've done it multiple times. Hell, we got an episode taken down from fucking YouTube. Your
Got
fault.
canceled.
Your fault.
We got canceled.
Had to say Bill Gates, didn't you? Had to.
I guess I had to, but it's interesting because one of your last podcasts, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and
John Lennon.
yeah. So when you have those podcasts, when you have the gentleman on there about John Lennon's death, and how it's just totally just like conspiracy, and what along with the JFK, RFK, and when you talk about the Lennon one, I love those are like my favorite ones because it just opens. I didn't know like all those facts. I just knew what everyone else knew. Was it Chapman? Was that his name?
Yeah, Mark Chapman.
Chapman. Just went up at shot him or whatever. But like, so I didn't realize like the distance between the shot and then the possible of getting shot inside, uh, of his
Well, it's very
building.
careful territory. It's what I kind of touch on with like the JFK stuff. It's like if you see something that was originally stated as this, and there's evidence to support that it was wrong, and there's clear indication and acknowledgement that that was wrong, then on the basis of that, you should be able to question the topic without it being called you're a conspiracy theorist. John Lennon assassination example is Dr. Stephen Lynn, the autopsy doctor or person who said he was resuscitating John's heart with his bare hands. He's been on numerous documentaries about John Lennon. And if you Google his name right now, it says autopsy doctor lied for the past 30 years. It's acknowledged by the New York Post, Washington Times, everything. Everybody acknowledges that this guy lied because the real doctor stepped forward and said, no, I did all that, but I've been silent about it because I don't care about the fame to this. The real doctor was Dr. David Halloran. Now, on that basis, that this guy was a piece of shit and took the fame for it and lied, you cannot tell me that everything about the original conclusion is correct. And that's when you get into the more conspiracy stuff. So, like, to me, that's not, I wouldn't even consider that nut job-ish. I would just consider that like just trying to uncover truth from ego and all this other stuff that might be lying on top of it.
It reminds you of the JFK stuff and all the the government and the cover up and it's like as I hear you guys talk about it all the time. And it's just like it's not about right. And like I said, like you guys talk about over and over again. It's just we just want to know the truth. Like if you covered up, if it was Dallas police or if it was this or if it was that, just let us know, man. Like it's 60 years, right? Like
I don't even care about the answer as much anymore. I'm more about just trying to see what I can accurately. I had someone comment on something that I did JFK related, and they're like, the interviewer, and I'm not an interviewer, but they said the interviewer doesn't know what he's talking about. Gerald Ford didn't move the back wound up 6 inches or something like that. And I literally commented 5 different articles from main publications like New York Post and all this onto his comment, and then also 8 different clips with 8 different researchers with 8 different forms of documentation to back up that is verifiably proven that Gerald Ford moved the wound up in the report up 6 inches. Then he edited his comment and said, well, he did change the wound, but it wasn't enough to back anything or change any actual statements made. I go, yeah, it fit the single bullet theory. You moved a back wound from right back here up to the back of the
up
neck.
to the neck. Yeah. And that's what's interesting. Like I know it was, I don't think it was one of your recent ones. It was one of your older ones. You had a whole episode with a gentleman who talked about just the body after death, moving the body, transferring the body in the hospital, the brain and the brain. And like that was actually one of my favorite episodes of them, how they transfer the body and the inconsistencies of that. So it's just really, like I said, I think it's really, I love your JFK episodes. You had a few RFK episodes, which I really liked, but like I said, I really like the John Lennon ones. But yeah, man, it's good stuff. I like it. I like hearing other,
I'm
other
obsessed with the 60s and
opinions.
70s. I'm
No, man,
telling you.
I was told all the time when I was younger, when I was like in my early 20s, like, man, you should have been around in the 60s. You should have been around in the 60s. And I was talking the other day. I was just like, man, if I was around in the 60s, I would have went to Woodstock and this, yeah, we would have went through the JFK assassination and the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. It would have been It would have been awesome. But I mean, I can say I went through the 80s as a child and like everyone loves that, right? Because the 80s, it seems like right now, like the 90s are kind of really trending. Uh, all the 90s stuff is coming back around. But yeah, man, 80s were awesome as a child, and I was teenager in the 90s. So
Well, a lot of the 90s stuff is trending is because a lot of the kids my age that would have that 90s nostalgia are the ones that are now starting to be in charge of corporations that are kind of leading the social media front.
that's right. That's right. It's just crazy on what like I said, it does it all the time, trends and stuff. They just kind of circle and circle and circle. But like you're right. I didn't even think about that. Like all those kids, they're in charge now. Right. It's like us. It's like our generation. It's just like, we're in our mid 40s. We're like in charge of companies and right CFOs and stuff like
And most
that.
of you guys are giving it to kids of my generation, the companies. So then the kids that get inherit those companies don't have to worry about jack shit for the rest of their life. They can just tarnish your fucking company's reputation if they want.
Yeah, I was talking I think my wife, we were talking about the GameStop. We were just like, or you just buy a $10 stock one day and then like a couple days later it sells for like $10,000. We were talking about the GameStop. How are they still open? Because PlayStation, I'm a PlayStation guy. They just came out and said, hey, you are not allowed to sell any PlayStation games, so they forbid it. They're trying to lock down right people that buy games and then take them to like GameStop or whatever, and they get money for them. So it's just how that's shrinking down. I don't know. I haven't bought a physical copy of a game. My Star Wars game, digital. Call of Duty. I buy all my games digital. So I don't know how the place is still in business. You know.
It'll all be online sooner or later.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll all be like in a cloud or yeah, like in a cloud, like streaming. Like yeah, you'll stream because the PlayStation has like streaming games, a streaming catalog. But once again, man, like the membership, my $60 a year membership went up to $80, and now there's like three tiers, and I'm on the cheapo one. The cheap one is $80. Then there's $135 a year one, and then there's $165 a year
Hmm.
one. $165 a year, that's where you get a streaming catalog, PS1, PS2, PS3 games, and you have access to like a big catalog of games and stuff.
And then when they raise the minimum wage, that'll go back up again too.
Yeah, and once again, man, the cost of everything has gone up drastically. I got a cost of living raise about a year ago or so ago, but it was like 2%. It doesn't cover how much everything has gone up. So it's yeah, man. Like, so when you go to McDonald's, freaking what do I get? Like a double quarter.
Does your kid ever express struggles with money?
Well, no, because my daughter does because she's out on her own. Absolutely, I have to help her out all the time. I buy, but what I do for her now is it's more for Marley, like right, it's diapers or wipes or stuff like that, right? And she struggles, and she's out on her own. My son, he doesn't. He's kind of playing it smart. He still lives here with me. Like, so he's about to be 21, but he straight up told me he's like, I can't afford a place on my own. I'm like, yeah, you could. You just work. And he goes, no. He was just like, no, He was like, rent would be like, yeah, $1,000, and then this and that, and then this. I was just like, yeah, you're right. And I was just like, when I was 19, I moved out of my house. I made 550 at Meyer, and that's all. And then after a month, I got my first warehouse job, and I made like 725 an hour. So I was making 725 an hour, 550 at Meyer, worked two jobs, and was able to like support myself in one bedroom apartment. But like I said, so now flash forward to today, could I live in a one bedroom apartment with one job? I don't think so, because everything's just too much. So, dude, thankfully, I refinanced my house during COVID, so my house payment is super cheap.
You don't get to
Uh,
mention that word anymore.
no, I know. Oh, COVID.
Yeah.
Hey, my daughter, like, thank God they got better, but my Christmas
Guys,
almost got
don't even. I'm serious.
my
You got an
Christmas.
episode taken down. You're not allowed to mention that word anymore for the rest of your life.
Okay, but my daughter, my granddaughter, and her boyfriend all had it, and it almost ruined Christmas,
Almost.
but did not. So it was awesome.
How much are you set back from Christmas?
I told you, man.
Zero? I went into debt over Christmas.
Zero. I pride once again, man. I pride myself. The last 2, 3 years, I have not gotten into any credit card debt during Christmas. I just been real fortunate, man. The plasma money helped a little bit, but yeah, man. I stash money. I stash money, and I lowered Christmas. So I'm like usually huge on Christmas. I spend a lot of money on my kids. Um, I spend way too much money every year. This year, I told both of my kids, I said, "Hey, tell me two things you want. I'll get you two things that you want, and then I'll buy some stuff that you don't know about." And that's what I did. I kind of scaled it down. Miss Marley, she got a bunch of like toys and stuff, but like that stuff is a lot cheaper. But like, so yeah, all the way around, wife, kids, granddaughter, everything came down. This is the one year I spent the least amount on Christmas ever. So, and my kids still got, you know, quite a bit of stuff. Then you get like tons and tons, but like they still got some things.
Do you think that's because of everything so expensive now?
I'm just yeah. Well, once again, I don't want to like say like what I've made more money this year than I've ever made ever in my life. Like my salary this year. I'll say this. I made like almost 20K in overtime this year. I've only worked one job this year. One job, but 20K in overtime throughout the whole year. So I've worked a lot, man. And I'm still in debt a little bit. That's what I was telling my wife. I was just like donating plasma to get rid of that last credit card. But yeah, man, it's life is expensive. And like I said, my mortgage is low and this and that, and life is still expensive. It's getting crazy.
Do you feel comfortable sending your kid out there if he was going to be by himself?
Uh, yeah, I mean, as long as, like I said, what I really, really try to instill in my kids, man, is job wise, is just staying at a job, providing, especially if my daughter, if there's any advice, it's just like you gotta provide for your family. Number one, that's like my numero uno like rule is you do whatever you have to do to provide for your family. And my daughter's boyfriend, like I said, kudos to him, man. He worked one job, two jobs throughout this last year to keep them afloat, man. And that's what you do. So I always have mad respect for people uh that will do anything they need to do. Right. I'm donating plasma like to get earn extra money. Dude, I worked at FedEx
Why don't you
Ground.
just
I worked
donate semen?
You could do that and get some extra money. I'm just saying, man, if you can have your job and you have another hustle, regardless of what it is, man, you do what you got to do to survive and to have a little bit of extra money so you can do some fun things, man. That's what life is about. I did a lot of things. That's why I'm broke I'm pretty broke even at the end of this year. I went to probably 8 concerts this year. Um,
Man, which concerts did you see?
oh man, I saw Incubus, I saw Snoop Dogg with my kids, saw John Mayer, saw Smashing Pumpkins, I saw The Offspring, Sum 41, saw the Gym Blossoms,
All at the same time?
no different times, but like the John Mayer tickets, dude, those weren't cheap. I bought Green Day. I'm going to see Green Day next year.
Fuck
Those
yeah.
tickets weren't cheap. When I got those, and all that money got spent this year. I went and saw Hamilton early in the year, dude. That was a very expensive musical.
You know what that's about?
Um, uh, Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton.
Did you know he was cheating on his wife?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that's crazy. I didn't
I
know
looked
that.
up the pamphlet, the Reynolds pamphlet, and it's goes into detail like how he cheated on his wife.
That's nuts.
No, it's crazy. But like, anyways, but like, yeah, just I know I'm like I'm in debt a little bit still, and I've kind of broke even, and I really don't have like a ton of money behind me, but like I have some money behind me, And I got to do a lot of fun things this year. And actually, I just got the concert bug. I love music, man. I love playing music. I love listening to music. And the C word, the C word, the dreaded C word, that really didn't exist this year. Like everything went back to
What's C
normal,
word?
man.
Oh. I was thinking you're saying concerts and music. I was like,
No,
concerto?
but like
I was like,
concerts
did
were
you
like
mean
concerto.
concerto?
But concerts were back in full effect. Like you know what I'm saying? Like everything. And like I just got like wrapped up in it. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this and go see this and go. It's just dude, all my old favorite bands. Oh, I saw Everclear. And I got to meet Everclear. So
Damn.
Everclear, they played like a small venue, a smaller venue, which I love smaller shows. I was like front row, got to watch them, and then they went and hung out at the t-shirt table after the show, and I got them to sign a poster at the end of the show, and I got to shake all their hand. I got my picture with the lead singer. It was just so much fun. Once again, man, like, and that wasn't like the cheapest night either, but like that's what it's about, dude. Like my younger brother, my younger brother, he like saves all his money, penny pinches. Right, he invests a lot and does this and does that. They don't spend any money. I'm like the opposite of like my brother. Like I spend some money throughout the year, but like I do fun things, and I think you have to because what if you say I said this to my brother. I said, what if you save for 20 years and then on the next day you retire, you get hit by a bus? No, I don't want that to
Jesus.
happen. I don't want that to happen. But you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all that money's there, but like you didn't do anything. So I don't know. I just feel like you got to do some fun things along the way, man. What do you like to do? Did you go to any concerts?
I did went to one, like I think I wouldn't say maybe towards the end of summer, maybe a little bit before that. That was about it.
Who'd you go see?
The Expendables.
Okay,
They shared my
there you
cover
go.
on their story,
Oh, cool.
which is pretty interesting. But
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think life. I'm one of those people, man. I'm a Sagittarius, man. Like I think life is too short.
Jesus.
I like being spontaneous. I
Whoa.
like going to do things. Um, yeah, man. You gotta go out there and have some fun while we're still around on this crazy. Because honestly, dude, like in all of my life, adulthood. Now that I've been an adult for 20 something years, life is too short, man. Like, go out and do some things, man. Spend a little bit of money, go out and have fun. Create those memories, right? Because I remember going to basketball games with my son, right? I remember doing all that stuff. I think it's crucial. If you're talking about family values, I think making memories is a crucial family value that maybe's been forgotten. Go out and do things as a family. Dude, this podcast started with, hey man, sit down and have dinner with your family, right? So you can connect with your family. Put the cell phones down I don't allow cell phones at my kitchen table because of you, because of me starting all those years ago with you. There's no cell phones at the table at home. There's no cell phones at the table when I go out to eat. And that's because of Robbie. So I owe that to you, man.
The atmosphere at the restaurant is so
No,
important.
man. No, because I think we all forget about it because everyone's so plugged in and everyone's got to check their Snapchat or their social media or whatever, man. Like everyone's too plugged in. You got to unplug. You got to talk to people. My job, I'm being forced to go back into the office a couple times a week next year, which I don't want to do because I've been working from home. But like, it's good, man. You need some human contact. You need some human connection. It's good for you, right? So yeah, man. Like I said, if I can stress anything that I've learned that I since day one with Robbie here, man, is put your cell phones down and just talk to each other, man. Have some family dinners, man. Learn
What
about each other.
what would you say after all these years, for either us knowing each other or things that we've just talked about in the past? What would you say growth wise you've had?
Well, once again, right there, I mean, what I just mentioned, that's a great growing tool, man, is just to connect. Um, and it's honestly being at home a lot and this and that. Before I met you, I really wasn't connecting with people or even thinking about connecting with people.
It's not easy because usually you work a lot, so it's hard to do that when you get home. I mean, I work 60 hours a week now, and it's hard to even schedule a podcast. I don't have a day off. I went to a movies with someone and she was like, "Hey, let's go see this movie." I was like, "Let's go at a time that's earlier in the day." I get off at 8 a.m. I work all night. I can't do it. And the earliest they do a movie is like at 11:30 or 12. So I was like, if we could find something there, that'd be great. She was like, "All right, let's do Hunger Games." And I looked up the time for Hunger Games. It's a 3 hour movie.
It's a
I
long
go,
movie.
there's no way. So I saw Thanksgiving because there was a person with an axe on the front. Horrible movie to take someone to. Horrible movie. My favorite comedian's in it, and he says the most offensive thing in the first 5 minutes. And then next thing you know, people are getting their heads chopped off and eating other people. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I choose? But yeah, there's no social lifetime. I had to take off for a specific day, but it's nice to have money, and I'm getting out of debt too. So
Good for you, man. Good for you. It's yeah, I mean, I've lived a lot of years in debt because of my family. Doing big Christmases or
and good for you for doing sacrificing that.
yeah, dude. When I got bonuses at my job, it went to my family. When it went to my kids, when I yeah, any extra penny I ever have earned has went to my family always. So that's why, like, I get some like that. I think that's what maybe that too. Like, it's just like some selfish time the past few years. I've done a lot of musicals and concerts and stuff like that. I'm going to Kill a Mockingbird next month. I'm going to that play. I'm looking forward to that. That wasn't too cheap, but I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, man. It's just go out and do things, man. Have fun. Talk to people.
Are you
I
gonna
still try to do that.
are you gonna try and get back into content creation at some point?
I want to. I want to. I don't know, man. I don't know. I still have everything. I still pay for everything. I would probably have to update my editing software. And the software I used, because it's been so long. Obviously, get a newer version of everything. But I do miss it, man. I don't miss editing so much. That it could be fun. Editing is like a double-edged sword, man. It's a double-edged sword, man. Sometimes it's fun, and then sometimes it's just tedious. But I miss like doing like this. Like I miss this. I miss like doing the content, recording the content, whether it's podcasting or YouTube. Um, I 1000% just like miss it, like creating content. So I've always been that person. Like ever since I was a teenager, been in music, been in bands, been in front of people, creating content, creating music. I love doing it, man. Like my whole life. So
What about the
yeah,
content workload?
yeah, that'd be another thing. I'd have to like be able to refit that into my schedule, right?
Well, how much
Because
did you set aside for it?
you got to remember, man. So when I was doing it, my Saturdays would be shot. Sometimes I would record on Friday or Saturday. I'd record in the morning, and then I would edit, man, for like out 3 hours, like at night, and like it really took a chunk out of my like family. Like I sacrificed a lot of like family time when I was doing the podcast, and the YouTube was a little bit better because I was editing, you know, uh, I'd record like 8-minute videos and edit them down to like 2 minutes. That was a little bit easier, but the podcasting, man, that would just right. We record an hour, and then like this, you record like an hour and a half, and you have to listen to everything. And then I would edit it, try to trim it down the best I could. And you remember what I used to do? I'd add music and add sound effects, right? I just added. I had so much stuff and did so many things. I really probably needed it to be a little bit more. I think that's why I liked YouTube because YouTube I scaled it back, but then I made it more complicated because I was just making ourselves disappear and putting effects in them, right? And then you just start complicating your edits. But like it's fun, man. Once again, it's double-edged sword. It's fun and it's frustrating at the same time. But every time I got done, I always loved it, right? Because once you get done doing your product, probably how you feel about this. Like when you get done and you post, even though you post shows every day, I was doing, every week or a couple times a week. I don't know, man. You just feel proud. And I was actually really proud of myself because when I started it, right, no experience, no, not in editing or anything. And, learned how to record and edit and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun, challenging. I gave the speech to my kids yesterday at Christmas. I guess I don't know when this is posting out. But it's the day after Christmas right now. But I gave him that speech that if you're comfortable, it's not good. It's actually negative. It's a negative thing if you're comfortable. You should always try to push yourself and get outside your box. Push yourself and challenge yourself. I think how it got brought up was failing. My daughter said she failed at something. I said, that's good because when you fail, that's when you learn. When you challenge yourself, that's when you learn. And hey, I'm not the best. Like I said, I like to be comfortable too, man. Like, don't get me wrong and get my bubble around me, but like, you gotta, that's why I like my merge at my company. This is really pushing me out of my bubble, my comfort zone. It's really good for me. Challenges me to be a better leader and learning leadership qualities and skills. It's the same way in life. Like I said, you got to push yourself, challenge yourself, learn new things, challenge yourself. And like I said, that's how you grow. Or, a good piece of advice I like to tell people nowadays is listen to podcasts, listen, read books, research things. Then you have things to talk about. Everybody is paranoid, like, even me, man, like, you get in like a public surrounding and like, you just, what do you say? How do you talk to people? Well, the more stuff you know, or research or topics you can bring up, right? The more stuff you can talk about. So it's fun, dude. Your podcast has helped me out in public, like just bringing up, JFK stuff or John Lennon stuff,
Don't
or
do that. You get
stuff like
shot.
that.
Don't do that.
No, but it's easy to go to be like, hey, I listened to this podcast that talks about, and then but then that triggers other people to be like, well, yeah, because the 9/11, or 9/11 might get brought up, or something else might get brought up, and go down another completely different avenue. That's all. That's what conversation is. Where we started, I don't know where we're at. Where we started an hour or so ago, and what we're talking about now is completely different, man, because the avenue changes as we talk, right? And that's the beauty about conversation. So yeah, man, and that's what I do. I still try to read books and Star Wars books. I got a few of them that I still need to read. But yeah, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself.
Do you have anything you want to promote?
I don't, man. I don't do anything. I mean, if you want to go check out some old Star Wars podcasts, it's all Sith talkers. Everything is still out there on iTunes and all the other platforms. The Sith talkers on YouTube was a bunch of me and my brother doing reaction videos, a bunch of Bully McGuire. But I haven't done it in so long. Dude, it's been over a year since I've done anything. But yeah, there's some old podcast episodes. Me and Robbie have done some Star Wars ones. Those were a lot of fun. I know we used to do a lot of what if episodes.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. See, me and you could schedule it, right? We could always pop one of those out.
Well, I'll link Sith Talkers in the description for people to be able to click on and check out some of your work. I'd look up a lot of those episodes. William McGuire stuff was where you really hit a stride there for a minute. You guys were really cranking out some.
I don't understand that fan base. I never understood those videos. The only reason we started reacting to it because one of them was like Star Wars, and then it just took off, and that really kind of made the channel popular. Like the YouTube channel, like popular, is like nuts. I had more people watching Bully McGuire videos than I did listening to Star Wars podcasts. So it was crazy.
But I'll link all your links in the description, Mike. It's been a pleasure chatting with you again, man. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank. Stay tuned for next episode.